morning I'm sitting in my office working and a gentleman walks in, and I'm Director of Community and Economic Development for the city of Long Branch, and I'm sitting in my office among the usual chaos, and this gentleman walks in and asks me if I would support an awards dinner that he was having for a bunch of basketball players. And so I just gave him a look and said, how did he know that I was associated or at some point in my life affiliated with basketball? Or is he just testing the waters? And then before I answered, he said, you know, I used to hate you, but now I love you. And he was saying this before I even said yes. So I'm saying, who is this guy and what is his purpose? But he explained to me that he was giving an awards dinner for disadvantaged kids and adults at the Holy Trinity Church here in Long Branch, and if I would be kind enough to support the awards dinner, as the players were not that often getting awards and that kind of thing. So I readily agreed to help him out. I went to the dinner and I saw the people that he pretty much coached, and they were young, they were old. The gymnasium was filled with just great people from Long Branch, and everybody was there. Mayor Schneider, the mayor from Eatontown, and some other Tenton Falls. And the dinner was great, but what was so fantastic was the smiles on these faces of the recipients of these awards. And by the way, Auggie had trophies for everybody in the room, including his wife and his own family. And you know, he had an award for my wife, but he gave about 4 awards to each player, and even though the dinner lasted about 3 to 4 hours, it was one of the greatest experiences I ever had. So I realized then the sacrifice that this gentleman makes every year towards these kids and these people. I realized that he must have the patience of Job and the skin of a rhinoceros, because you have to be patient. And then when I found out that he was a referee, then I realized that he fit right in with the coaching. So that was my experience with Auggie.
When my son was in Long Branch High School, he was a football player, and I would go to the football games. And although I know about football, I didn't always know what the flag was for and everything. And Auggie, whether you know it or not, is a die-hard Green Waves fan. And he is, shall we say, very vocal when he's at the games. So when I would go to the game, I would search out Auggie and his son Christopher and sit with them, because then I could get the benefit of Augie's commentary on the games. Augie's a very dependable man. He is a good-spirited person. He brightens any occasion that he attends, and he's someone we can really depend on. If we had more parents of people that we serve at the program like Auggie, we could do a lot more things. It's a well-deserved award. Thank you, Auggie.
I had the opportunity to meet Coach John about 26 years ago. I had my own school. We were in the field together. He had a Seashore day school, and I had my time for tots. I had to close my school because I wasn't zoned for infant cares, and I was going to have another baby. So in lieu of that, I closed my school, and I continued my friendship with Coach John Villapiano. As soon as my son reached a certain age that he could go aboard at Seashore, John called me and said, please, Dawn, come over here and work for us. It was a great decision. It was the only place I would have wanted to be with any of my children. So I started working at Seashore and had the opportunity through John to meet Carolee, Gus, and Phil, Grandma Chicky, and Pop-Up Gus. It was great. My journey there is very hard to sum up with the family, the Villapianos, because there's too many memories, and they're all fantastic. I do feel like a family member now, as does all the workers that have shared time at Seashore with me. But every day I've gone to work, and every day I've gone to all the social events, the Villapianos, the grandchildren, the nieces and nephews. I always have had one feeling that I've never shared, and I feel this is a time to share it. If you've ever watched The Chocolate Factory with Willy Wonka, there's a great part in it that says, come with me to a world of fascination. It says a little later on, look around, to see, if you want to be in paradise, look around, you're in it. And that's really how I have to sum up my love, my journey, my time spent with Coach John, Carolee, Gus, Phil, and the whole Villapiano family. It's been the most amazing journey.
My sisters and brother and I were very fortunate growing up. We spent every summer at Seashore Day Camp with Uncle Johnny Cittadino and Coach Gus Villapiano. Over the past 10 years, Seashore Day Camp and the Villapiano family have been proud sponsors of the Michael Thorne race, which we appreciate very much. The Michael Thorne race is in honor of my brother who was killed in the line of duty fighting a fire at Monmouth College. And we thank the Villapianos for the past 10 years for their wonderful support, and I congratulate them on this honor.
I've known Auggie DeVito, I guess, most of my life. I started out when I started playing baseball in the city leagues here, and then right through high school and through college. And Auggie was an umpire, and I have to tell you, he was a pretty good umpire. Not bad at all. But nobody embodies the Libutti Award more than Auggie DeVito. I had the privilege of serving as mayor from 82 to 90, and that's when I really got to know Auggie. His recreational activities, leagues he formed, his charitable organizations, his church-related organizations, just a heck of a guy. Couldn't pick a better man for the Libutti Award than Auggie DeVito.
I first met the Villapianos approximately 12 years ago, and my son David was 4, and we were looking for a summer camp for him. And my husband David has known John numerous years. They've worked on committees. I know David was with him when he did one of his bids for one of the elections. So we went to the camp, and of course, being a mom, I was very nervous. David was he was 3.5. And I was very nervous. I see all these huge pools and all of these children. And John came over and introduced himself to David. He really didn't speak to his father or myself. His attention was on little David, and it was like magic. David took to him, and while I was watching John interact with him, I also watched how he interacted with the other children. And it was amazing how he knew all of those children's names and the way they responded to him. And for me to watch that, it just put me at ease. And since then, not only has David and Kiera and Kobe, they've attended Seashore Camp every single year. They are fabulous swimmers because of the Villapianos. And David's even a lifeguard, and John was one of the instructors that taught the lifeguarding program. They are wonderful people, just a fabulous family. And for our family, we feel like we're a part of them, and we just love them.
I've known Auggie DeVito a long time, probably first through going to local sporting events and sitting near him. He was always there with his son Chris, who he took everywhere with him. And then later on I found out that Auggie had organized and ran for many years a basketball league. You know, when Chris was a young man, Auggie involved a whole community of people with disabilities in a basketball league so they'd have something to do. And I've gone to this dinner virtually every year since I was elected. And, you know, Augie's sitting there spreading all this joy amongst people, you know, looking for no credit for himself. But, you know, there's this large group of people, and they just love him. I've known the Villapiano family for an awfully long time. I mean, like a lot of people, you remember them from their sports careers. Long before I moved to Long Branch, you know, Phil was playing for the Oakland Raiders, and everybody knew who he was. But then when I came to Long Branch, you know, Seashore Day Camp was just a part of this community going back 75 years or more now. From when it was on the ocean, it was the Cittadino family. Generations of kids have gone there, including my kids. Probably half this town learned how to swim from them. And they've been part of this community ever since. John was a local elected official. He was a state assemblyman. I knew him before I ever held office. Carolee was in the school system for a long time before she retired. And the family's just been part of the community going back several generations. This is a great night for the community, for the chamber, and for the DeVito family and the Villapiano family. You know, the Libutti Award stretches back a long time, and these two families and these people have been a part of this community for a long time and contributing to kids and to people through various activities that have really made a difference. And so it's just a thrill to be a part of it.